it's Kelly, the embroidery nurse. World's largest monogram. Whoop whoop. Okay, I have lived in this house for over a year with just a shower curtain liner on my shower. My husband, it drives him crazy. He's like, when are you gonna do that shower curtain? So I had bought a shower curtain over a year ago with the intentions of putting a ginormous monogram on it with our wedding monogram. If you're familiar with wedding monograms, they are woman's first letter of her name, and then in the middle is on the left, and then in the middle is the surname, which is our last name, and then man's first letter on the right. So I, with my glorious Ricoma, have the ability to do ginormous projects. Like, can you see this field? I mean, what? How crazy is this hoop? Like, all the projects I have been dreaming since I got the machine of doing a large monogram on this shower curtain. It's so simple and I can't wait. Amazing, the field that I have. What does it actually say? I need to look it up. This is 14.17 inches by 21. So basically 14 by 21 inches. Y'all, for real. I mean, I feel like it's life size, right? Amazing, 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 amazing. I generally do tiny little things. I do children's clothing. So when I saw this, I about fell on the floor. And literally the first thing I thought about doing was this shower curtain. And just like anybody else that has an embroidery business, things for yourself are always pushed back when you're prioritizing. But today is the day. What's awesome as well, if you didn't see my video earlier in the week, I have a tabletop that actually came with the machine that I have never put on, and I'm super excited. It was super easy. If you didn't watch it, you can watch it right here, how easy it was to add this tabletop. So it's awesome. It's going to allow this not to pull and hang to, like, you know, and so it'll stitch beautifully, basically, because it's going to be able to just take away some of the tension of it hanging. So, yay! So the things I'm going to use today, this shower curtain, the table for my Ricoma, which is going to be helpful. I'm deciding to keep it simple as far as the color. There's already some gray, silver lines on this, detail work. So I thought it would be fun just to keep it simple and put my monogram in gray as well. So I already have my gray lidded up, and I'm going to be using this ginormous frame, bum-ba-da-bum. Specifically for this project, I bought tearaway stabilizer that is a very large roll, so that I can simply just roll it across. My other that I used, the widest it was 12 inches, and we set it the biggest, this is over 14 inches from, you know, top to bottom. So I wanted to make sure that I wasn't gonna have to like piece pieces together, because that wouldn't be the tension that I want for my stabilizer. So I got this ginormous roll, which I think is about, I'll have to look it up and I'll link it below. Maybe 20 inches, 18 inches, I can't remember. But it's a great roll, tearaway stabilizer. I want to be able to tear it away so nothing's left behind. And I'm excited. I'll probably use, well, I am going to use some spray adhesive. I'm going to cut my design out and cut my stabilizer out with my scissors. And then I will, because it's so large, pin it as well, so that it's, you know, no room for movement with this because it's so big. I'm going to show you the monogram that I've chosen, and I was so excited about how easy it was to find it. I found it from Rivermill Embroidery. Check this out. Have y'all been to Rivermill Embroidery? I love their stuff. It's some of the earliest fonts that I ever downloaded were from Rivermill before I even really knew much about embroidery and different companies and digitizers. And from the get-go, I have had some of their fonts and continually use them to this day. So a great embroidery site if you have yet to visit them. But here is the coolest thing. I want to do a huge monogram today. Like, I am so excited about the ability to do a huge monogram with my Ricoma machine. Like, the field is crazy. So I realized that the biggest, you know, on my Embrilliance, the biggest font that I had was a 7.5 inch monogram. And I want bigger. Y'all, I want bigger. So check out how cool this is. Rivermill Embroidery actually has a section where you can choose the embroidery alphabets by size. I don't have to like dig deep and look for something. I can literally click on this. So watch. I mean, how cool is this? Let me move me. I'm down here in the corner. Now I'm at the top. You can literally, if you want a teeny tiny one and you want to see all they have to offer, these are great when you're doing little tiny projects. Look at all the fonts that you could choose from. So how cool is that that they literally break it down by size? That right there. Thank you, Rivermill. I don't have to search for something so specific. So anyway, I'm going big, y'all. I'm going to go as big as they have. I don't think 9.5 had a lot of options, but yes, look at this. I mean, seriously, I already obviously looked on here. That's why I got on here and was like so excited to show you. But Rivermill Embroidery, I am so using this one right here. I love it. It's an extra large classic 3-letter monogram machine embroidery font. I wouldn't have typed that into the search. I would have maybe said large. I wouldn't have said extra large. I wouldn't have known that was even something I should type in to find this. So how excited am I? Check out Rivermill Embroidery. I'm going to purchase this font. Done. Done. I just bought it. Y'all, $4.95 for a font that's this big. Awesome. All right. So, of course, I want the option for the BX files because that's really all I ever want. So I am going to download my BX files and I'm just going to look and make sure there's DST, EXP. I do generally download the PES or DST files as well, just so I have them both. I love the way this looks right here. This is a good chart to keep if someone wanted to see, what their letter would look like, because not all letters obviously look the same. I'm going to save image and I'm actually going to save it with the font. All right, let's go and try this out. So we've got it saved here. I'm going to open. I'm going to add my 7-inch. I'm going to add my BX 8-inch. And I'm going to add my BX 9-inch. Dun, 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 dun. All right, so now we're going to go and find it. I think my Rivermill are normally down on the bottom. Yep, Rivermill. There we go. Classic 9-inch KPJ. Boom. Oh, interesting. They don't actually put it in monogram sizing. Looks like I have to do that. So interesting. Maybe if I do KPJ. Yeah, okay. Did that do anything different? What did that do? File, edit, undo. Edit, undo. Okay, so if you actually make it over here capital, so the little one's gonna be K, the uppercase P, lowercase J, and now that looks better. I'm gonna bring them in a little bit. That's the 8-inch. We want big. We want bigger, right? Because that doesn't. Let's do 9-inch. Same thing, KPJ. There we go. And that is now capital. So we're going to bring this in a little bit. Bump, ba, da, bump, 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 bump. We're going to bring this in a little bit. Bump, 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 bump. I'm going to move me out of the way and let's look. I like to kind of look back. I kind of even want this to be a tad bigger. Go big or go home when it comes to monograms. What do y'all think? Do you love it? Sometimes it's so hard to make things like symmetrical. Like this one's straight on the side and this one's not. But I think that represents our married monogram. So when you're married, you do the woman's name on the left. You do the woman's name on the left, the last name in the middle, and the man's name on the right. And how do I know that? Because where did I go? I actually went and looked it up. Anyway, the proper way, just to make sure. Where do I have it? I think I looked up married monogram order. And here's a good example. Bride's first initial, couple's surname, and groom's first initial. That is how married couples monograms historically are done. So here is an example of mine. My name is Kelly, our last name is Payne, and my husband's name is Josh. So we've got Kelly, Payne, and Josh. I love it. So I'm going to print that out. Y'all, River Mill, how cool is the fact that they have them broken down into sizes? I can't tell you how much time that just saved me. I love it. One other thing I like to do, especially because this is a really big font, I'm actually going to change the order that it stitches. So normal order would be, left, middle, right. It would just go across, right? But when in a bigger item like this, so it doesn't pull too much, same with hats, I like to start in the center and then move out. That way the center is set, and then you'll do either right, left, or left, right. It doesn't really matter. But I'm going to do center. So the C right here is center, left, right. I could do center, right, left. It really doesn't matter. But the main thing is I want the center letter to be the one that goes first. So, all right, let's go stitch the world's largest monogram. Whoop, whoop. I got it printed out. Done. Okay, how awesome was that? So I have my printout. Love this font. Like when I was kind of envisioning it, this is what I was thinking of, and I hadn't even found the font until today. So River Mill Embroidery, amazing. I just love that I was able to narrow down to the size and pick a really large size. So I always print out my designs from Embrilliance. That way I can make sure it's exactly where I want it to be. So we're going to use our tearaway stabilizer. We're going to use our spray adhesive, our ginormous hoop, and we're going to find the center of our design. I want to make sure, since there's two bands, that it's in the middle of the two bands. So I'm going to go measure real quick and I'll be right back. Well, that's no easy feat to find the center of a huge item like this. I don't feel like my table's even big enough. Actually, my table's just not clean enough for me to do that easily. It's big enough, there's just too much stuff on it. Lesson to clean up before you're done. So what I did is I used my ginormous roll, and again, I'll link it below if you're looking for a ginormous roll of tearaway stabilizer. And I cut two pieces, a little bit bigger than my frame, because I feel like this is almost 50,000 stitches. Last minute, just 2 seconds ago, I decided to make it even bigger. And Brilliance is awesome. It allows you to resize, where it will actually change the stitch count to match the digitizing. They talk about not doing a lot of resizing. Now, I didn't resize it a bunch, but maybe I added a couple inches. But it was already 9 inches to start, right? So what's another couple inches? I just wanted it big, y'all. Go big or go home when it comes to the world's largest monogram, right? So because of 50,000 stitches, I'm like, that's a lot. I went ahead and cut out 2 pieces. I put a little spray adhesive between the 2 pieces, and so now I've got one larger piece. So now, the joy of hooping this, I'm going to put some more spray adhesive on this side. I use more than I probably should. Ah! Always use more than I probably should. All right, so I'm using a little tiny table here for purposes of showing you guys. But actually, I think it's going to work okay because it's about the size of this. So I have pinned my design exactly in the center, exactly where I want it to be. So right here you can see the grid line. Probably can't see it right there. It obviously doesn't print the whole thing on an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper because it's way bigger than 8.5 by 11. But I am going to try to lay this on top without moving it too much to where that is kind of centered. Now we've got this humongo item in place. I've got my frame, largest frame ever, and it fits perfectly. There's gonna be no issues with that. I have to make sure that this frame, that it goes in the correct way. All right, so I'm gonna put that aside. The latches go in. So I'm gonna take the bottom part, I'm gonna loosen it, obviously, because I've never used it, so it's tight. Righty tighty, lefty loosey. Let's see, am I doing that right? Okay, lefty loosey. I'm gonna make it loose so that we can actually fit 2 pieces of stabilizer and a shower curtain in it. I'm going to slide it underneath and I'm going to get the center little notch there to match the center. All right, that feels good. So now, again, this part has to go facing forward, so that's good. There is a notch on the top of this hoop, so I'm going to even more so slide it over to meet the notch or the top of my grid line on my printout. All right. So I'm just pressing it down, making sure it's in all areas. So glad I have this tabletop on the Ricoma machine because it's going to really help hold this where we need it to be. So I'm going to turn it over. Everything looks hooped beautifully. I'll show you the other side, but first I want to tighten it as much as I can so that obviously it doesn't go anywhere. Righty tighty. So you can see on the back side that it did grab all of the stabilizer and it does come out on all 4 sides. I like to check that. Both pieces are in there well and the shower curtain itself is in there well. So the next thing, I just want to make sure on my end that it is indeed straight so that I don't come away with a monogram that is crooked after waiting a year to do it. So a lot of things that I do are truly just visual, holding it up and looking to make sure it looks straight on my end. And it looks straight. You can even go so much as measure the top of the frame to the top of the band. It's kind of like it is in the construction world. What do they say? Like measure twice, cut once. Is that what they say? I think that's measure twice, cut once. So I'm going to do just that. I'm going to take the top of the embroidery frame or the embroidery hoop and I'm going to use my just my measuring tape and measure to the gray decorative line, and that's right at 15 inches. I'll move over and do that process again. That's at 14 and a half. So I'm going to go to this side and see right at 15. So I measured from both sides and the center, so I would expect the center to be a little different. I just didn't want to come away and it'd be wonky and not, you know, where we want it to be. And perfect. I feel really good about it. I have definitely measured multiple times, multiple sections, multiple areas that it is on there correctly. Because it's one thing to have it centered in the actual hoop, but if it's not centered in the actual item, then you've done more harm than good. So now we've got this big old mama jamma. Now again, you're not seeing the whole thing there. This is the center. The reason you're not seeing the whole thing is because this design is way bigger than 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper that I used to print out. I am going to take some extra precautions and around the edges of this, go ahead and pin the stabilizer. And I have to be careful and do it on the outer edges because like I said, this doesn't print out the whole design. The design's bigger than this piece of paper. But it fits well within the hoop. And we will trace, especially because I don't have the whole thing printed out. We will trace our design. I do know, you know, that I select this size hoop. This is the, like I think the E hoop or whatnot that comes with the Ricoma machine that I have. And so I actually select that size hoop on there and it recognizes it. So it knows that the design, the DST file that I picked fits within it. So I feel good about that. But I just want to make sure on this side, you know, the left side that it didn't print, that we're good there as well. So I'm just kind of putting pins on all edges of it. So just another step. You don't have to do that, but I just kind of am accustomed to pinning things, so it just helps. All right, now I'm going to take this big girl over here. And the cool thing is I have this table already set up. And for this project, I just got to make sure I get all the excess out of the way. So I'm going to slide it. Again, the notches have to be in the exact spot. Perfect. So that's on there. Now it's the excess, because I want to be able to walk away, right? I don't want to have to sit here and babysit this, especially because it's going to take a while, right? It's 50,000 stitches. So I need to figure out a game plan for all this excess so it doesn't get caught up in the machine or fall over onto it. That would be nightmarish. I do have some embroidery clips. I've got some more over here. These are some of the bigger ones, and I really do love these. I don't know if you can even see them. Actually, half the time these are in my hair, holding my hair back. But I'm going to actually just clip them so that it stays in a bundle. And I hope that will prevent it from falling over. Now, luckily, I am going to be working in my shop today while this is running, so I probably do need to keep my eye on it a little bit. It's my first time doing a large project like this, a large monogram like this. I mean, y'all, this is the world's largest monogram, I mean, right? It's the first time using the table on the machine, so I just kind of probably don't want to go too far. But how awesome that it can do a project this big. So I want to first center my needle over my grid so that I know we are exactly where we want to be. Good. And so not the last, but you know, something you definitely want to make sure you do, I always trace my design. So I'm going to say okay, and I'm going to follow that needle all the way. And I'm also watching how it pulls. Plenty of room within the embroidery field. I feel perfectly good about that. And I think that bundle in the back, it will be fine too. I'm going to do it one more time. Not because I'm worried about the field. It is perfectly within the field for embroidery. I want to watch where this fabric goes when it goes from side to side. Because remember, it's going to move all the way over and all the way this way because it's such a large design. So right now I'm just watching this excess, and making sure that it moves like it should. This table is amazing. I can't imagine if it was hanging down what it would be doing and all the weight it would be pulling on. So it looks good. I like the way it's moving. I don't think it's going to prevent anything from happening. Y'all, who's ready for the world's largest monogram? We are doing silver, just kind of to go with the design color. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It is on my 9th needle out of 15. All right, 9th needle. Okay. Shall we press start, y'all? Ah! Start. All right, the magic of YouTube. I'm going to show you something that took an hour to stitch out in progress in 1 minute. Boom. looks amazing. All right, let's get this bad boy off. I'm actually going to take the pins out. I only put a few in there anyway. Looks like I put 5. I don't think I needed them. The table worked amazing. I love, love, love the table. I don't think it could have done this well without the table. I'm taking it off. You guys! Ah! How awesome. I know it doesn't show up that well because it's silver, but it looks amazing. Like, I want to sing, like, I don't know, some kind of song. Amazing Grace. It looks awesome. Y'all, it looks amazing. Thank you for joining me for my world's largest monogram project. Couldn't have done it without this hoop. I mean, y'all, this hoop. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Wow. This is amazing. I'll show you a picture of it hanging if that doesn't take another year for me to do. But thanks for hanging around. Happy stitching, guys. Go get you the largest monogram ever. If you're interested in Ricoma, the link's below. Bye. Woo!